Let's talk about finding your purpose. Are you on a quest to find your purpose? Have you found your purpose? We're talking with the authors of this book, Finding Your Purpose, and we have the amazing Sherri Leopold with us here today. She is one of the authors in this book with us, and we are so excited to have her on board and to have her share her story with all of our listeners and readers. So, Sherri, why don't you just take a minute and introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sally. I appreciate it. And I love Action Takers Publishing. I am the CEO of Option Creators, and I help you create options that bring you happiness, joy, financial benefit, all sorts of things. But mostly, I help you stand up and stand out as the unrepeatable miracle that you are. And that is truly what gives me joy, is helping you walk in your purpose. And because helping you walk in your purpose is what my purpose is.
Tell us a little bit more about your Wow Warrior.
Absolutely. Yeah. During COVID, I got some clarity. I had started the start self-bullying movement prior to COVID, but during COVID, I actually began, because so much of the world went viral, so to speak. I got connected with people all over the world instead of just people locally. And so it was really amazing to develop out the Wow Warrior platform, which really is woman of worth. It can be warrior of worth. I'm not excluding men, but traditionally, like, women have, I think, more barriers to success, and sometimes we create them. But ultimately, my goal was really to help women shine and stand in their power and really connect to that, what I already said, which is that they are unique and that unrepeatable miracle. And the Wow Warrior is really allowing space and providing a visibility platform for women to do that, stand up and stand out, and inherently knowing that as a Wow Warrior, it is a woman or an individual that is going to offer that hand up to somebody to bring them with them and to lift them. So that's sort of the nucleus of the program. I mean, it is actually magazine and some television shows, and there's a whole thing behind it, but that's what the center of it is really that powerful Wow Warrior. I always say, when anyone's a Wow Warrior or they walk in a room, all you can do is say wow.
Now that whole thing got created because of your self-bullying
Yes,
move.
it actually led right into it, and that it came from sort of some, I guess if you want to call them, speculative walks, really, around. I grew up in domestic violence, and my mother was a very strong person, and so it sort of led me to, how was she unable to be strong in just that area? Because everywhere else she crushed it, in her jobs, friendships, everything. And I just didn't understand how it was that one thing. And I realized it was really what she thought of herself. I don't think she thought she deserved more than that. And that's sort of where I started to lean into, you know what? Those were things I think she was saying to herself. But the reality was, I don't think the rest of the world saw her that way. But I wanted to really champion women who were able to pull it all together, right, in all those areas, and stand up and stand out, and collectively as an inspiration point for other people.
So what does the self-bullying movement do? What is it about? I mean, I think I've been probably bullying myself for most of my life. So what is you wrote a book about it,
Yep.
correct?
Yes.
What does that do? What does that help people with?
So really what it is it's really about awareness. I think we self-bully, and there's a long story behind how it came to be. And I touch on it a little bit in Finding Your Purpose, because it led to really my purpose. But ultimately, it's the words we say to ourselves, and what runs on repeat in our head. And a lot of times people hand us those words. We just do the disservice. So somebody could bully us or say, you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, whatever demeaning thing they want to say, Sally. But the problem comes in is when I turn around and I call you up and I tell you what happened. I call my mom, I call my sister, I call my best friend, and I tell 12 people at the next event I go to. Those incidents are all self-bullying because a bully only does it once, walks away, and feels powerful. When you self-bully, you take what they handed you and you keep hitting yourself with it. It's why there's a bat on the front cover with words on it like shame and ugly and fat and a foot because we need to step on that bat. We have control of that bat and it's a choice. We have to step on it and stop doing it. But the only way to do that is through awareness, and allowing ourselves the space to change the behavior so that we can really evolve. I call it an ACE, which is just ACE. And that's really how you can win in life, is when you mind your mind as we need to do, you will minimize that self-bullying. It will never be gone. You're never cured. You don't ever get over it. Some days are better than others, but it's important to create a tribe of people who call you on your stuff too. That's an important factor in that.
So talk to us about being part of the book, the Finding Your Purpose book, and why did you get involved in it, and maybe a little bit about what you wrote in your chapter.
Sure. It's fun because when I heard the title, I was like, a little tiny part of me went, do I really know what it is? I'm just being transparent.
Mhm.
uh, but then I was like, no, I stand in it every day. I do it every day. And truly, I think one of the greatest things about really dialing it down, which is really what I did when I was writing this and sort of crystallizing it, if you will, is that, well, number one, it was the clarity came through the writing. I will say that for sure. But it also affirmed for me that I'm doing exactly what I am meant to do. It is the thing that gives me joy and really impacts the world in the way that I was put here to do. And so, it was a huge affirmation for me, I think, that I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Did that answer your question?
Yes. Now I'm very, very curious about your chapter title.
Yeah.
Um, let's do a cannonball together. So explain to me what this means.
Sure. So let's do a cannonball together actually is sort of the visual description of what my purpose is and what my legacy is that I'm building. So I always say when I'm helping somebody in the Wow Warrior platform, whether it's as a contributing writer or interviewing them on one of the shows, my main goal is to help someone go farther faster. That's the language that I use. And by that, I want to have you visualize if I were standing on a dock with you at a big lake and you ran off the end of the dock and did a cannonball, you'd make a splash and you'd have some ripples, right? But if I say to you, Sally, let's lock arms, we're both going to run as hard as we can off the end of the dock and both do a cannonball, we'll make a much bigger splash, have way more ripples, which those are the ripples of blessings, right? Those are the things that emanate out people's lives we touch that we didn't even know we touched. Like, we're not sure who all will read this book, right? Those ripples will continue to move out. That's what that is. And that description is actually what my purpose and legacy really is. So the title is actually a visual of who I am, I guess, as I want to make a splash with as many people as I can, creating as many ripples of blessings as I can.
Awesome. And more fun, right? It's more fun to
Yes.
do it with somebody else.
100%. And I think I get just as much joy out of seeing somebody else succeed as anything I could do myself, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's next for you?
Oh gosh, I think I want to do a rewrite actually of the self-bullying book. There's so much more I want to add to it, so that is on the list. Also, I have some skeleton stuff done on. I really want to do self-bullying, how to teach parents how to raise kids who limit their self-bullying. I know it can't be eradicated, but parents aren't well equipped. They don't have the tools. And they often say things like, well, don't hang around with them, they're mean. Or I had one person who their mother told him to grow a backbone. I'm like, she was 16. She already knew she had one. What does that even mean? Like, we don't know as parents how to help our children,
Mhm.
but we didn't have any help either. And so I really would like
Right.
to have a guide for that. I mean, like something that somebody can turn to, look through and go, oh, okay, I remember I can do this. Because I didn't have that either. I just sort of flew by the seat of my pants. I think that's what most parents do. And we hope we do it right. But actually, what we do, and if we don't do it right, is we create the next generation of self-bulliers. So I just would like to really limit that number down to the bare minimum and give people the tools, right? So those are a couple
I,
things that are on the
I,
horizon.
I love those ideas. So we want to remind everyone to head on over to actiontakerspublishing.com/purpose. Over there, you'll be able to get some free gifts from the author. And Sherri has one that she's going to be given. Sherri, what's your free gift?
Well, I'm excited because I'm going to give you a PDF copy of the current version of Self-Bullying: What to Do When the Bully Is You.
There you go. There you go. How can listeners connect with you?
Well, you can connect with me on any social medias or at sherrileopold.com. You can find everything I'm doing and up to date there.
And what do they find when they go to your website?
Well,
What
you'll
else is there?
find the Wow Warrior platform with access to the magazine, whether to read it, to write for it, to be interviewed for it. You'll also find the 2 shows on there, Wow Warrior, airing on Everyday Woman TV, and also Wow, Look Who's Here, which is a social media show, and Outside the Box with Sherri. Actually, there's 3. There's so many.
I think you're as busy as Linda and I are.
I am, but it just goes to show you I love people and I love talking to
Absolutely.
people and shining a light on them.
That's so awesome. What do you want the readers to take away from reading this book, this Finding Your Purpose book?
I think if you aren't sure what yours is, read through and see what pokes you, if you will, and what strikes something in you or sparks something in you. And do some thinking around that. I think the thing is, some people might say, well, these people have all found their purpose and I haven't, but I would encourage people to use it as a catalyst to either clarify yours, hone yours down, or just take that courageous step into it, because you're going to see all the people in this book who had to take that courage step forward and really walk that path and figure it out. But the first step is everything, Sally.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's an ever evolving thing,
It is.
especially with your purpose. And what my purpose is was 10 years ago has changed drastically to what it is
Yes.
today. So, it does evolve. So, thank you so much, Sherri, for being part of this book, for letting us share your story in it. We want to remind everyone to go over to our YouTube channel to like, subscribe, and make sure that you're able to connect with us over there. And Sherri, thank you so much. And we'll see you all later.
Thank you. Let's do a cannonball. So, I know I kind of put a plug in already for the collaboration books in general, but I have actually done 4 different collaborations. It just dawned on me. I was thinking 3, but I've done 4, meaning there were 4 different people leading them. And I 2 out of the 4, I would tell anyone to be part of. And it's actually for the same reason, because Linda and this other person come with a complete sense of service, and it is to serve you and your story. And I that speaks to me in a very core level. And being in a collaboration and being there on launch day, as Shannon pointed out, there's so much excitement. And it's very different than like if you've written a book and you've launched it. A lot of times you're so tired by the time you get to that point that it's kind of like, ugh. But when this day comes for the launch, it's like, yes. And it's just like,